Hello, everybody. Welcome, viewers. And I'm Taste Challenge, an afternoon taste challenge. And I have two 40% alcohol single malt Scotch whiskeys, and they're from the Highlands. This is Trader Joe's Highland single malt Scotch whiskey, rum cask finish, double maturation, aged in first fill bourbon casks. Then it's finished in rum casks. So we go from bourbon cask to rum. Gives a little rummy flavor, they say. And I bought this obviously at Trader Joe's. It's produced for Trader Joe's by Hammish Robertson. Well, Hammish Robertson handles it. We don't know who produces it. This is Trader Joe's Highland single malt Scotch whiskey, aged 10 years in oak casks. Makes sense since all our Scotch whiskey, blended or single malt, has to be aged in oak cask. Alex says, cheers, Ronald, clinking the mugs, clapping, peace sign, looks delicious, also looks delicious. Okay. Thank you. Now, price, what did I pay? I kept the receipt because I figured I would forget, and I would. I bought these both on the same day, the same exact day. Which was on can't remember. Does it say it on here? In 2022. I know that much. Oh, April 30th. April 30th, 2022. I thought it was May, but it was April 30th, 2022. And the rum cask finish, have to check that off now because I've opened the bottle, was $17.99. True story, $17.99. The Highland 10-year was $23.99. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 unopened from that big day, that big purchasing day. And I have, so what I say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 unopened, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 opened. So 9 containers opened, 5 unopened. And it's been over 3 years. Highland is great. I gave Highland 8.6 out of 10. You're talking about the style, I guess. Maybe 8.8. Jason Cleveland says, I've never had any alcoholic products from Trader Joe's. I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, now I'm going to show you a screen share real fast. This is the Alexander Murray and Company 2011 10-year aged Highland single malt. You notice the label is identical, except it's, instead of saying Trader Joe's, it says Alexander Murray and Company, and there's a different animal. They were started in 1911. This one was established 1967 in my bottle with a lion holding up a Ferris wheel. But everything else is the same. So could this be the same exact product with a different bottle design? Different bottle shape. Now, they're not using the same bottle. I'm talking about the label design. I'm sorry, the label design. Now, notice my bottle. Nearly identical, except, nearly identical label. Who's the producer? Who makes this stuff? They're not going to tell you. Now, some of the Alexander Murray and Company, they'll tell you who makes it. All right, it'll say on the thing what distillery it's from. It'll say Colilla or Glenglassaugh or Aberlour or something like that. They'll be open about it. Others, they said that they said on their website, they said some of the companies, they don't want us to say who made it, so we don't say. We'll tell you the region, but we don't want to say who makes it. This company is what we call an independent bottler. They don't make any whiskey. They never have made whiskey. They simply bottle it. You know, they might have a small bottling plant. They buy whiskey. They bid on whiskey from different companies or make deals with different distillers, and then they bottle it and put their name on it. Alexander Murray is okay, just okay, says Alex. Okay. But they make like, they don't, but they own many different whiskeys that they've purchased over the years. So here's a real cork also. So you're getting real cork. Although some people say that a twist cap is actually better because you don't have deterioration of the cork. But I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a scientist, although I did stay at Holiday Inn Express last night. So here's the Highland, and it's finished, remember, in the Caribbean Rum Cask. Who's Rum Cask? They're not going to tell you. You know how many Caribbean rum companies they have? Many. Could it be Bacardi? Well, it could be Bacardi. Could it be Appleton Estate? Could be any of those. Let's see what happens here. They're about to. This one here on my left hand is much lighter gold. This one is amber. Deep honey color, like clover honey. Okay, and that's the rum cask finish. Does the rum give it that? I don't know. Maybe caramel coloring gives it that. Excuse the racket. Now I'm gonna have to close my eyes because if I if I look down and see the darker shade, I'm going to know it's the rum cask finish. So $6 difference. The 10-year age is $6 more. Now, my nose is itching. My nose is always itching. These old nose hairs, you know. But how long is the rum cask finish age? No age statement. We don't know. We don't know. We know it's at least 3 years old, but we don't know the total age. Now, if I go to my local Trader Joe's, I can get beer, wine, liquor. But they don't sell Limburger cheese. I can't hardly find Limburger cheese anymore. My local store had it, but it kept going out of date because meaning nobody was buying it. So they dumped it. They stopped selling it. Can't blame them. I might have been the only person in the whole parish that liked to eat it. Nobody else wanted it. Yeah, it's got a rich oak, caramel. Oak and caramel. Could it be rum in there, in rum barrels somewhere in here? It's possible. It's possible. It's possible. Now, I got the 8-year aged confused with the Highland rum cask. Can you believe that? But I certainly did get it confused, and I was so embarrassed. This one has a more richer toffee aroma, like a Werther's original candy almost. Even a Kraft caramels, but more of the Werther's. The Werther's. Well, they both have interesting aromas. Can't say they're not aromatic. Maybe not the best smell you ever smelled with Scotch whiskey, but certainly not the worst, I don't believe. All right, taste time. I'm thinking this is the 10-year just because it seems milder or something. Very light. Pale grains. Very light. A little touch of bitterness. Like I said, light to medium body. Dry finish. Relatively smooth. It is smooth. You know, not totally, but it's mostly. But very pale. And that's making me think the Highland 10-year age from Alexander Murray and Company. You ever get these single malt Scotch whiskeys? Look at the label carefully, and a lot of times you'll notice that it's really independently bottled. It's not from a certain distillery. They don't want to put the distillery's name on it. It'll be one of these, I don't know what you call them, brokers. They buy and sell. They don't produce, like J&B. Y'all all heard of J&B Scotch, Just and Brooks. That's another example. They don't make products. They simply have it, but they have their own brand. You see, J&B is their own brand, but they have many other brands that they sell. If you look on their website, you'd be all day looking at that. But when I went to London, England in November 2023, in the freezing cold, thought my feet would freeze off. I was going down St. James Street, and there it was, Just and Brooks. I said, there it is. What I've heard about, but it was closed. It was after hours. It was like after dark, and it was closed. And I could look inside and see displays of the products, but it's just an office. That's all it is, a big office, but it's just an office. And then down the street on the corner was the other big broker down there, the brothers and Barry Brothers and Rudd, and they were closed too. But they have but before you get to the corner, they have an event center. They own an event center, Barry Brothers and Rudd, and they have like they were having a big party that night, like a private party or dinner, and they had these two beautiful girls, and they were wearing real fancy like waitress outfits. You know what I'm saying? Like hostess. That's the word, hostess. Twinkies. No, but you know what I mean, King Dons. But hostess, and they had a clipboard, and they said, "Are you here for the?" I'm wearing a windbreaker. I'm here for the event. Sure. Are you here for the event? I said, no, but I noticed you got Barry Brothers and Rudd emblems, and that's a whiskey company. Oh yeah, they said, oh yes, in that English accent, oh yes, but we're the event center. That's down the corner, but it was closed, And then I was trying to find the palace. I got so turned around and lost. But somebody showed me. I got lost in St. James Park. But they were like, no, go this way. And then I went, and it was big. It's like a big office building, more than a palace. You know what I'm saying? It's like the White House, but bigger, like much bigger. But it was closed. It was all dark. I mean, they had floodlights to light up the ground, so you didn't have people snooping around. But it was closed. It was not open for any tours or anything. But I got to see it. I could tell people I went there. It's a huge building. And then but they had that St. James Palace, the old headquarters of the king, and they use that for events today. Like dinners, and they were having a dinner that night, and they were all dressed fancy, and they had people driving up showing their papers or their invitation. Oh, come in. And I was just looking at it, and then these police were looking at me very badly, like, "What are you looking at?" And I didn't want any trouble. I just kept walking. And I wanted to tell them that I could look. That's not a law, but I don't know really the law of England. They might have arrested me on suspicion of looking hard at people. But I was just curious, like Curious George. I think this one has that odd twang at the end. That I'm thinking a rum twang. I don't know what it is. I don't know what rum it is. The possibilities are wide, not endless, because there are only a certain amount of rums made in the Caribbean, but it's a wide range of possibilities. Even Belize, Belize has a Caribbean coast. It's in Central America. You say, no, that's not a Caribbean rum. That's a Central American rum. No, but it would be Caribbean. Because Belize City is on the Caribbean Sea, the old capital, not the new capital, Belmopan, which I think is a small town. But do they have rum distilleries in Belize, formerly known as British Honduras? See, when I was growing up, everybody called it British Honduras because what it was known as. And that's still part of the British Commonwealth. So they could have a connection to Scotland. More than just having the same king, they might have business connections going back decades, centuries. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they have rum distilleries in Belize, British Honduras, formerly known as, and it's on the Caribbean Sea. So it's a Caribbean nation. If you want to get techno. I think maybe. And I was listening to the radio going to work this morning. Those guys were so ignorant about history and geography. I was amazed. There were two guys on a talk show talking about Trump going to England, and they were saying, well, about, they were talking about him wanting to join the British Commonwealth, rejoin it, so to speak, rejoin it really. But they were saying, well, Ireland is part of the UK. And then one guy said, no, that's only North Ireland. And he said, the other part's another country. And then the other guy said, no, it's all part of the United Kingdom. And then they were saying, what is part of the United Kingdom? Scotland? And one guy said, no, I don't think so. Great Britain is, what did they say? The United Kingdom is part of Great Britain. And then the other guy was like, no, I think Great Britain is part of the United Kingdom. I was shaking my head. I said, boy, they really don't know. What were they doing in geography class? And then they talked about Wales, and they said, I don't think Wales was part of it. I was like, wow, you could just look it up. But I think this rum cask finish has a little bit more character. I'm not saying it tastes better. It's just got, well, maybe that's part of tasting better, more character. But it's got more like exotic things, and it is $6 cheaper. So I'm gonna say this is the rum cask finish from Trader Joe's. Well, sold at Trader Joe's. I got it. Now, am I gonna have some more mix-ups, mess-ups, screw-ups in this series? Well, it's very possible. Alex says, just kidding. Okay. It's possible. I don't know, but I'm going to try to get a handle on this rum cask, this flavor, I'm going to try to get a handle on it. I don't know if I'll be able to, but I think it's got that rum. Well, how do you describe the rum? It's like the molasses flavor. Okay. I'm going to run with that. And I think I'll be very successful running with that thing, that designator. So I just got to keep in mind, listen for the silent E, listen for the molasses, and you'll probably get it right. So do I have another Trader Joe's product coming up? Well, actually, I do. I got the Trader Joe's. I can't remember if it was Highland or Speyside, but it's a bourbon cask finish. It's finished in bourbon barrels. Or it might just be straight up aged in bourbon barrels all the way through. But it is a bourbon barrel treatment. And so that was pretty interesting, and they still sell it. Last time I went there. All right, so y'all take care, and join us in about 10 minutes or even less with regular beers, regular beer Wednesday. Bye-bye, everybody.